everyone! Today I'm going to do something a little bit different, slightly a little bit more serious. When I say serious, I don't mean like serious, deep issues. I just mean non-beauty, fashion, makeup related, more life related. A lot of you may know, or you may not know, you may be new to my channel, that I suffer with anxiety and panic attacks. And I have suffered these since I was the age of 14, or so I thought. I do think that I was quite an anxious child as well, but this is not a therapy session for myself, so let's not go into that. I did actually make a video about it quite a while ago now actually, and it helped a lot of you, and I still get questions from people about anxiety and about panic attacks and about stress and depression and lots of different things that lots of different teenagers go through or think they're going through, and the majority of the time they think they're going through this alone. So I just wanted to make this video to reassure some of you that it is, you know, it's a common thing. A lot of people suffer with it. I still suffer with it. It hasn't magically gone away, and I just wanted to answer a few of your questions that I always see popping up everywhere. So yesterday I asked you guys to ask me questions on Twitter using the hashtag Zoella anxiety, which we got trending worldwide. Whoop, whoop. We're all very, very different and we're all programmed differently, and I think it's a good thing. So before I start, I just want to say embrace it. Open your mind to this video and enjoy, and I hope I answer some of your questions. One of the main questions that I got asked was, do you have any tips on calming yourself down if you can feel an anxiety attack or a panic attack coming on? I can only give you my personal tips. I'm sure there are many of you that have tips as well, which you could also share in the comments, which I think would be really useful for a lot of people. But personally, what I like to do is to take myself out of the situation where I'm feeling anxious. So that might be to step outside, to go somewhere quiet. If that's in a busy place, maybe a public toilet. I know it doesn't sound great, but it's quiet and it's just you. I get quite anxious around big crowds. I feel like I'm being smothered when I start to feel panicky. I feel very claustrophobic and I feel very hot. So for me, the best thing to do is to get outside into the fresh air, look up at the sky and be like, you are not trapped. Nothing is smothering you. If it's a person that's making you anxious, get away from the person without being rude. Just kind of slip yourself away. That does actually happen sometimes. I can find myself talking to somebody and all of a sudden I'm like, you're making me feel anxious. It's not like a personal dig at somebody, it's just that you'll be speaking to someone and their words will just be going completely over your head and you're just watching their mouth move and you feel like you're not really there. That's happened to me a few times and I've just sort of had to be like, I'm just gonna pop and get a drink. If you're not near fresh air, which is always a massive help for me, water, having a glass of water, trying to breathe is also very important. A lot of the time you could be crying. You're breathing in too much oxygen when you're panicking, which can cause you to hyperventilate, which can then cause you to freak out even more. So you have to be really aware of your breathing, which when you're having a panic attack isn't very easy, and it can be the last thing on your mind. So it's always helpful if you're with someone and you feel comfortable to be around that person. Let them know this so they can remind you to, you know, breathe slowly, breathe in for 10 seconds, breathe out for 10 seconds. Or if you have a paper bag, it's always good to balance out the carbon dioxide and the oxygen intake. So breathe, listen to relaxing music or distract yourself by looking at things around you. So looking at people, thinking, I wonder where they're going today. Oh, maybe they're going on holiday. Nice thoughts. I like to think of beaches. I also have an app. I have two apps, one called calm.com and I have one called Relax Melodies, which plays out relaxing sounds you can pick from, like beach sounds to forest sounds to like park sounds, anywhere that you specifically find a relaxing place. Like for me, the sea is super relaxing. So if I'm ever feeling anxious living here, I know I can just walk outside and go and sit by the beach for a bit and then I'm absolutely calm. But if you're not and you're on public transport or you need to calm down quickly, like I've been on the tube before and I've had specific songs. I actually used to make a playlist which for some of you I think would be a really good idea if it happens quite regularly or you wanted to stop it from happening, is to have a playlist of music on your phone or your iPod or MP3 player, and just have that list of music that keeps you calm, that brings back really happy memories, that can take your mind off situations and you're not like overthinking about things. And just play that and get yourself through the songs and think about the lyrics. And I always find that very beneficial. And obviously the app, you can listen to sounds. Once I was freaking out on a train and I literally put my headphones in, shut my eyes and listened to the sounds of the beach and the birds, and I tried to convince myself that I was not on a ram-packed hot train, I was actually on a beach. It's hard to do, but you have to really try. Just think of it scientifically, just think this isn't going to last long. My heart's beating fast because it's pumping the blood around my body a lot quicker. I'm feeling a bit lightheaded because my breathing isn't proper. Instead of thinking, I'm gonna faint, I'm gonna die, these things make you freak out even more. So you have to try and think of the science and the body behind the things that are happening to you as you're freaking out. I once had chronic pins and needles in my hands and feet and I thought I was gonna faint, and then I told myself it was actually because of my breathing. So I managed to slow my breathing down, regulate my breathing, and I was like, okay, the pins and needles are going. And it all kind of makes sense then. If you could understand it a bit better, you don't have to freak out as much. Generally though, if it's not when you're having a panic attack and you're just a very anxious person, light exercise, walks, maybe a little bike ride every now and then, maybe, I don't know, up and down your stairs in your house. Exercise is always really good. Yoga, meditation, enough sleep. I always find with anxiety, if I don't have enough sleep, I could have a particularly anxious day the next day. Eat well, drink well. You just want to keep your body in a good place, because then when your body's in a good place, your mind is in a good place. And also try and stay organised. Even if your anxiety isn't around being organised, I always just find if things are a bit more organised in your life, then everything is a little bit more organised in your mind. Someone asked me, what is the worst thing about my anxiety? The worst thing about my anxiety personally is when it comes to being given opportunities. Now you guys won't know half of the things I've been asked to do that I've had to say no to because I've been scared, I've been afraid that I'm gonna have a panic attack, like on, I don't know, on live TV and it's gonna go wrong, and I've been scared of what you'll all think. Like, I think too much about what other people think. So a lot of the time, it's easier for me to say no because I like to keep other people happy. And I think that's the worst thing about my anxiety, because I am totally under the whole premise of saying yes to things and then seeing what comes out of it. But sometimes I'll think, I couldn't possibly do that. There's no way I could possibly do that. And then I'll leave it to the last minute and I'll chicken out and be like, no, I can't. And then I'll regret it. So that's probably the worst thing about my anxiety, is that it holds me back from doing certain things. It's definitely things that 2 years ago I would never have even contemplated. And my confidence in that area has improved dramatically. Doing what I do, you kind of have to, you have to do these things. Like, I could say, I mean, I want to be able to fly across the other half of the world to see you guys and to meet as many of you as possible, but that is still hard for me. And I have this thing where I know something's coming up, and every day I'll get like a little heart flutter when I think about it, and I've got a lot of things like that at the moment, so I'm feeling quite stressed. But that is probably the worst thing, because normally you'd just be excited, but I just feel terrified. So the excitement does come eventually, but before that it's scaredness. Any tips on anxiety around flying? What do you do? Okay, now before last year, the last time I'd flown was when I was 16, so that is a long time ago. See, I don't have a fear of flying. I just get very anxious when I know I'm stuck somewhere for a very long time. So the thought of having to sit on an aeroplane for 9 hours plus terrifies me, because I think, what if I freak out? I can't step outside and get a bit of fresh air then. And if I did, that would be terrible. So I think for me, the whole build-up of flying is based around the fact that once I'm on that aeroplane, I am not getting off. And once I'm off the aeroplane, I'm very far away from my comfort zone. So the way I've kind of dealt with it is to treat it as an exciting thing. You've got more of a chance of getting into an accident by crossing the road than you have of ever crashing in a plane. Statistics like that are always useful if you are scared of flying. But for me, it's comfort. So I take things in my hand luggage that I know will keep me comforted, comfortable, things to distract me, playlists, songs. The first thing I do when I get on a long haul flight is look at the movies and the TV shows on the TV in front of me, and I'll sort of plan in my head, right, I'm gonna watch this and it's gonna be really exciting, then I'm gonna plan this and I can edit my video. I kind of prefer long haul flights now because I feel like it's me time. Like, you just have to enjoy it. Like, get on that plane with the mindset that you're gonna have a great flight, and I think that helps. It does take a bit of getting used to, and obviously there's going to be times where the last thing you want to do is ever get on a plane. I have had panic attacks in airports before, but usually when you've gone through security and your bags are all done, that's when you know you're really going. Make sure you're sat next to somebody who you trust and you feel comfortable with. Also, get yourself a nice neck pillow, because that is just a dream. Because if you're feeling slightly stressed, you could just go to sleep and then 9 hours later you wake up and you're there. It's perfect. How do you cope with being judged about having anxiety? I think I cope better now as an adult than I did when I was younger. It's different now though, because I feel like back then I didn't really know I had anxiety. I just thought I was a bit weird and people probably thought the same. So no one ever judged me to my face that I know of. But like I said previously, I do worry far too much about other people judging me when I feel anxious, or how my plans could affect other people's plans. I just kind of feel like people can have their judgments about a lot of things. And this just adds to the list. The people that are going to judge are not the people that you need to really worry about. I've definitely learned to cope with it better as I've gotten older. And I just feel a bit sorry for anyone who doesn't understand but isn't taking the time to try. I think there are a lot of people that don't understand, but that's just purely because they've never been through it, or they've never researched it, or they don't know anybody that's been through it. But for those people that have never bothered to try, or just, I don't know, don't even worry about them. They're not worth the time. Somebody has said that they're too scared to talk about their anxiety and their depression. Any advice? Yes. Please talk to somebody. There will be somebody who will understand exactly what you're going through. It's far more common, shut up seagull, far more common than you actually think it is. But when I did start talking about it, I was probably 17, 18, and I went to a doctor, and I talked to numerous doctors about it. I think I've spoken to like, I don't even know, I couldn't even count on one hand how many doctors I've spoken to. I spoke to friends and family, and I just explained, this is what's happening, this is what goes on in my mind, I'm not crazy, sometimes I'm gonna act a bit weird and it's because of this. And I think the people that really matter to you will know that there's something wrong with you, in which case they will always be supportive. It's so much nicer to share things with people rather than to keep it bottled up inside. If that's a parent, a sibling, a grandparent, a teacher, even if you feel more comfortable speaking to a teacher, or there is always the doctor, who will have seen numerous amounts of people probably in the same day with the same problem. So it's not new for them to hear, and it's not a rare thing. Have I ever had to help someone through a panic attack? Yes, I have, and I just want to give you some pointers. If you yourself don't suffer from panic attacks or anxiety, then you might know somebody that does, or you might meet someone in the street who is having a panic attack. Then you might want to just take note that the best thing you can do is to reassure them, comfort them, and give 100% of your attention to them. Listen to what they need. Don't keep asking them, but just listen. Don't force anything on them, don't make them do things. Ask them what they feel comfortable doing, ask them what they would feel comfortable for you to do, and reassure them that a panic attack can only last up to 20 minutes. That's something that I always find really useful. And also reassure them that they're no bother to you, because honestly, when you care about somebody so much and they're having a panic attack, you don't want them to feel embarrassed or feel pressured to leave you alone, or because at the end of the day, I know how it feels, and in my mind, when I'm having a panic attack and somebody's with me, I think, I'm stopping you from doing what you need to do, I'm so sorry, and that makes it 100 times worse. So just reassure them that you're there for them, it's not a big deal, whatever they need, you can do it, you can go somewhere else, like just basically drop everything and be with that person for 20 minutes and just do whatever the hell they want you to do. It might not be anything, but just stand with them and do nothing. Do you ever feel embarrassed when you have an anxiety attack in public? Yes, I do. As I said, that's one of my many issues, is I worry way too much about what other people are thinking of me, when really, you just should not care. It's way more common. No one is probably giving you a second glance, and if they are, they're probably thinking, oh, I hope she's okay. She seems to look a bit like she's having a panic attack. Nobody is going to look at you and go, what the hell is up with that person? Plus, the majority of the time, you're never going to see them again anyway. What is the difference between anxiety and panic attacks? Now that's a hard one. Okay, I'm actually going to Google this because I am not a psychologist, therefore I do not want to give you any wrong information. So most people will actually have anxiety. So something like short-term anxiety where you're nervous because you're about to go on stage or you've got a test, that's all normal anxiety. Anxiety for someone who actually suffers anxiety, which is like prolonged amounts of time, is almost like your body is freaking out at a lot more things than it should be freaking out at, and it feels like it's in this kind of dangerous situation. You kind of feel a bit uncomfortable, really worried, really stressed. It's like a million emotions all in one, and you'll get like a funny tummy and you start to feel a bit hot and you're getting a bit, oh my goodness, I can't actually handle this. And then if your anxiety gets particularly bad, it can then turn into a panic attack or anxiety attack, which is basically where your body goes into fight or flight because it thinks something is happening to you, and it sort of prepares your body to either run away or fight the situation. Most of the time, we don't need to fight or fly, we just have a really sensitive, anxious mind. Another thing, I think I said this in my previous video, is that the anxious people are like car alarms that go off from a little gust of wind or a leaf, and everyone else are the cars in the street that need a good battering before the alarm goes off. That's how I like to describe it. So if you're an anxious person, you're that car who has a very sensitive alarm. And if you are the sort of person that has anxiety when you're supposed to have anxiety, so basically your alarm goes off when someone is actually smashing into the car, then that's completely normal. But it's considered anxiety disorder if you have it a lot of the time and if it leads on to panic attacks. I don't even know if I'm explaining this very well. I just want to help you. I don't know. It's normal, it's okay. I'm going to leave links to lots of places below that you can read up about it, because obviously I am not good at talking about this sort of thing. I just know from first hand what it feels like. So I'm going to leave a few links below so that if you guys think you might have anxiety, or you might just be a nervous person, or you might just be a bit worried, then all the information will be down below and you can just double check, because I think it's also very easy for people to be nervous about something and instantly think that they have anxiety disorder, which might not be the case at all. I think most people get nervous before they do a lot of big things. So yeah, links below, check them out. What was your worst ever panic attack? To be honest, most of them are pretty on par. I don't know, I think my mind forgets them after they've happened because I find them so traumatic. The best person to ask would probably be Louise or Alfie. I had a really bad one in LA for VidCon last year. I had a bad one at One Direction when I tried to see them the first time. That was really horrible. had a really bad one in Paddington train station with lots of people around me while I was on my own. That was pretty traumatic. Yeah, I think my mind kind of tries to forget them. When was your first panic attack? The first panic attack I can think of was when I was around 14 or 15, I can't remember. I was at a house party, wasn't drinking, wasn't smoking, wasn't doing anything that I wasn't supposed to be doing. However, there were people there who were doing things they weren't supposed to be doing, and that freaked me out because they did not have control of themselves. And I had a panic attack, and my dad had to come and pick me up at 5 AM because I was just basically having panic attack after panic attack after panic attack and felt trapped in this person's house and didn't really know where I was, and it was just not very nice. When was your most recent panic attack? My most recent panic attack was at Tanya and Jim's when I was there during my vlogging month. It was when I was poorly. I went for a lie down because I started feeling really weird, like a bit lightheaded and a bit sick, and because I have a phobia of sick, I felt like my glands were stuck together, my throat hurt so much, it was making me freak out because I was overthinking it, and then I was like, oh my goodness, I'm all the way in Norwich, I'm nowhere near home, how am I going to get home? I'm not in a safe place. Obviously I was in a safe place, but I'm not in my safe place. So I rang up Alfie while he was in New York, and I was crying saying, I feel really panicky, I don't know what to do. And he rang up Jim and Tanya, and who were in the garden, and they came upstairs and sat with me, and then I calmed down. It happens a lot, guys. Like, I just don't document it. Like, it's not something that I ever want to document, remember? Like, who wants to remember that sort of stuff? And the majority of the time I'll always calm down and then think that was silly. I just overthought that a little bit. I think I overthink too much. I think I overthink things too much. Definitely. Okay, so I think that is pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this one. But if any of you have any more questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I can try and reply to as many as possible. I also want you to kind of help each other in the comments. If somebody leaves a comment that you feel that you can answer for them or you can reassure them, then please do. I know that you guys are the best subscribers ever. I love when you all help each other. I think it's an amazing community and a great place for all of us to talk and share experiences, and I really hope this helped. And I might do another one of these again if you have any more burning questions, but please check out the links below, and also please leave any feedback that you want to give to anybody else or tips on how you stay calm. I love you all a lot, and I'll see you very soon.